So I just finished watching the latest episode of Demons from the Shadow Realm or of the Shadow Realm, and I finally got a moment that I've been wanting probably since the first episode. This is my favorite character, Asa, and I love her character ever since the first or second episode, maybe the second episode more, because I love how she just loves her brother, and I've been feeling just so sorry for her because her brother, who she is like kind of forced to understand his situation of his reluctance to accept her as his sister because he's been lied to his whole life of having this other person being displayed as his sister. The first scene where he first meets Asa, his real sister, was a scene of her destroying this, I guess, facade or this placeholder or this fake phony fraud version of his sister that he's been conditioned to believe was his actual real sister. She's been dealing with this kind of coldness he's been giving her, and all she wants is just to have that brother and sisterly relationship that she's always wanted her whole life. And we finally got a moment where they have some type of embrace as brother and sister. And this is a perfect example because she's a character who's very strong, capable, and she has an ability, break. I think if I remember correctly, she has a special ability, break. And as strong of a character as she is, she still maintains her feminine side because whenever she is around her brother, she just chuckles up and just becomes this sweetheart of a character. And I'll show you an example from episode 1. This is her confronting the fake version of her that he was made to believe was his real sister. So she goes from cold-hearted, but in the presence of her brother, she immediately switches up.
Hi. Asa da yo, Ani-sama.
Her voice gets lighter, and she smiles. and I remember watching this scene like, oh, wow, what's going on? I mean, the first episode is a complete mystery. It throws you off. It catches you off guard. You know, you almost feel like the main character, Yuru, I think is his name, Yuru or Yudu. You feel like him because everything just catches you off guard. You don't know what's going on. Like, what is this world? What are these planes coming out of nowhere in this other world where he assumes they're dragons, but you as the viewer are like, wait, what is a plane doing in this feudal, version of Japan? And then you get our introduction to her is like, oh, she kills his sister, but then we learn, wait, oh, so it's not his sister, she's his real sister. And so whenever in the presence of her brother, like her, I guess her masculine temperament subsides and her like feminine side comes out, her loving side, where you could tell she's been waiting for this day to see her brother, meet her brother finally. And all she wants to do is just have that brother-sister relationship. It's funny how her feminine side is just, you see this stare, like this death cold stare. She's capable of this, but when it comes to her brother, that sweetheart part of her personality is also shown. So you go from that death stare to this, where she just being in the presence of her brother brings a smile to her face. It warms her heart, and just even the littlest things, I guess she's never got to experience as a kid sister, she finally gets to experience when they're much older. So and brothers drinking miso soup, like she's just, and that's so anime. This is what I'm talking about, where there's nuances that brings the identity of what anime is to life. So something as simple as this, it's anime. That's anime. That's anime humor. How it's drawn out. And something as simple as him eating as well. She just is fascinated with him. She just cherishes these little moments, and that makes me like fall in love with her as a character even more. And it's like, wow, man, that she really loves her kid brother. Or yeah, I think she's older, right? She really loves her kid brother, and it makes me, ever since you see this from the first episode, she just wants to be around her brother, and that's all she's ever wanted. But just like these little moments of reunion she gets to have with her brother, she cherishes so much. And this is what I'm talking about as far as she's a tough character, but she's very feminine as well. And me watching this episode was like, wow, man, I really love her as a character. And this is while this is, there's some great action, really some great action. You probably saw in previous videos where I used this as B-roll footage. There's some great action in this story, in this anime. But this is what really emotionally ties you to a story. It makes you attached to the characters to where she just wants her brother. That's all she wants. She wants that. She misses that part of her that she's been craving. And, the brother is kind of cold to her. He's reluctant to, like, technically he accepts that's his sister and that he was lied to his whole life, but he's still reluctant to accept. Let me just skip this. He's still like that stare boy. He's still reluctant to accept her as his true sister. So he doesn't embrace her, but you could tell that's all she wants. But at the same time, she knows she has to keep her distance and, let her brother accept her, slowly but surely. She's somebody who's been hunted her whole life by assassins due to her ability break. And now that her brother is living in, I guess, this world, the same thing will happen to him. But he's, of course, coming off as tough. Like, they can come for me. I won't run, won't hide. But she's like, you idiot. You don't know what it's like to be hunted your whole life. She just wants the best for him, and she doesn't want him to suffer the way she has. Brother, you idiot. And, of course, the older sister scolding him. I definitely had these moments because I'm the youngest out of 7, so I can relate to this when my older sister, And she just loves her brother. So, look at her, man. I love her as a character, man. It's very funny because, like I say, he's reluctant to accept her as his sister. So, even the hardest or coldest heart is going to find it hard to reject this plea from her. Like, you could tell she just loves him. She just loves her brother, and he's trying so hard not to, I guess, succumb to her emotional appeal. But it's a genuine emotional appeal, and it's kind of hard to fight that. It's like, damn, she really just wants the best for her. While she's my favorite character, of course, left. Oh man, of course, as I always say, the heavies. And so she's seeing her brother off. And, due to her always being hunted, due to her ability and who she is as a character in this world, there's a barrier that she can't cross outside that door. And she said, this is as far as I can go. That's the edge of the barrier. If I even take a step outside this barrier, 1 foot or 1 inch, I'm at the risk of being hunted by any assassin who's just waiting for their opportunity to steal this ability from me. Yeah, I could be attacked by trying to get break the second I step outside, right? Damn, look at left, boy. Them heavies. These anime titties. I love anime titties. Here's like a moment of genuine acceptance. It's like, because he looks at the barrier. She can't freely exit these gates. And he relates this to his fake sister, who we believe was his real sister, was in the same scenario where all she did was replace that room with this mansion. So he starts to feel sorry for his sister, and then she shares a picture of their parents. And of course, him coming from a feudal world, of seeing this phone is like magic. What? How did you do this? And then they take a picture together, and look, she's just for her, she's just looking for any moment to have a moment with her brother, to embrace her brother, and whatever it means, whether it's taking a selfie that he's amazed by. I think she says it here. Yeah, here it is. I successfully took advantage of the situation to get a photo of my brother. She just loves her brother, man. And there's a moment where this whole episode, I was like, before he leaves, like, give your sister a hug. Give her a moment. Like, she's been waiting over a decade to, like, just have a moment with you as her brother. Like, give her that moment. And when I started to see him leave, just look at, this is animated well. And I know that the same person who did, the same woman who did Fullmetal Alchemist did this. And you could tell she doesn't want to let this moment go without having anything left unsaid or unspoken with her brother. If anybody has watched this series, you know that their parents who have gone missing, she was born in the same village as he was, but their parents had to leave the village in a hurry to come to the modern world, which he is completely ignorant of. Their parents had to leave only with her, And I guess, you know, he knows that his parents love him, but I guess in the back of his mind, he always had this wonder, like, why didn't our parents take me as well and just you? So she clarifies this is father and mother were heartbroken. They couldn't take you with us. Wait, hold on.
様を一緒に連れて逃げられなかったのをすごく悔やんでた。
Granny Yamaha got in their way. It was all they could do to leave the mountain with just me. They wanted to take you too. You could tell, like, she wants to make sure that he knows this. And maybe there's some resentment there as well. So not just resentment as far as him having a hard time accepting that's his true sister, especially seeing her kill the fake sister before his eyes, but also maybe having some slight resentment that their parents only took her with them and not him. They wanted to take you, but they just couldn't. They didn't leave you behind because they wanted to. Such a good scene. Really good scene, man. It just wraps the episode up well. Well, not yet. And this is all news to him, and you could tell he needed to hear this. And yeah, oh man, jeez, yeah. He needed to hear that. You could tell he's been struggling with that thought for a minute, for a while, and you could tell she's probably assumed that he's been dealing with that. Just hearing that made it worth coming here. And even though, you know, he says, you know, he does a quick wave, see you later, and I'm like, oh man, I wish they would have hugged, because even me as a viewer, I don't know when's the next time they're going to reunite. I don't know if this is only going to be a 12 or 13 episode series, and then I'm going to have to wait like a year for season 2 to come out. Like, maybe this is the last moment I'm going to see both of them in the same scene together for a while. And even me as a viewer, I'm like, man, just hug. Give her what she wants. She wants that brother and sister moment. And when I saw this, she crossed the barrier, she put her life in this, just a hug. And I was like, oh, there we go. There we go. I love this. And it finally gave me that moment that I've been wanting. And I know technically they could keep you on the hook, you know, to keep you watching. But this, I'm glad they gave it to me in this episode. It perfectly built up to this moment to where she was finally allowed to embrace him the way she wanted to since day one, since they reunited. She's been wanting to do this, and she just couldn't help herself. She put her life at risk just to help her, just to hug her brother. And man, this wrapped up the scene so well, or wrapped up the episode so well. In this part right here. Take care of yourself. And this moment forced him to, you know, put any doubt aside. Like, no, this is my sister. So right here is a. He knows now, and just to see him have a moment, like, there's no doubt about it. That's awesome.
兄様、体大事にしてね。
あいつ間違いない。本物の俺の本当の妹だ。
Great scene, man. Great scene where they both have a moment of, at least for me, this is how you lure me in. Okay, like, I'm very committed to watching an episode. This is like one of those where I can't wait to watch the next episode on a weekly basis. There's some anime where it's like, all right, I get to it when I get to it. But this and a few others, you know, a season where it's like, I can't wait for the next episode to drop. Classroom the Elite, and there's another one. Yeah, this is, why, damn it, why? Like I said, you could tell, like, he was still reluctant to accept her, and, you know, he knows the truth now. And it's, I guess, and this is a hard truth to accept. Somebody who you believe to be your sister since childhood, it's like letting that go is like amputating a part of yourself, amputating a part of your limbs. It's one of the hardest things to do, to accept truth. It's like cutting off a part of yourself that you believe to be true your whole life. It became part of your personality, identity, part of your, you know, part of your life. And now just to have that automatically, I mean, all of a sudden just shatter and be forced to embrace the truth, you know. It's a good scene, man. It's a good scene. So, yeah, I just had to comment on this. I freestyled this. I watched the latest episode. I literally just got done watching the latest episode and I was like, I got to talk about this. I just love her as a character. Like I said, she's tough, but she's feminine. And anime just knows how to do this. We used to know how to do this in the West with Hollywood, but now all they don't even make tough girl characters. They make girl bosses, which being a tough girl character is not the same as being a girl boss. Girl boss characters are just insufferable. They're annoying. They just hate men. That's all Hollywood knows how to write nowadays because it's completely captured by activists. But this is how you do it. She's tough, but she's feminine, and she has a sweetheart part of her personality where it makes me, somebody like me as a viewer, just want to see more of her. And this is why I'm so appreciative that I'm still able to enjoy these stories in current day that anime offers me, where I don't just have to resort to watching just old shit all the time that still has the type of stories and characters that I love. I still get it on a current basis from anime, and I'm appreciative of that, which is why I make the videos that I do because I want this to continue into the future. So, all right, that's all I have for this video. If you haven't watched this, sorry for the spoilers, but if you haven't watched it, it's called Demons of the Shadow Realm. Great story. The same woman who did Fullmetal Alchemist did this, and I can tell because it's good. And Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is top 5 for me, one of my favorite anime, at least top 10. At least top 10. It always switches because it's hard to kind of nail down my top 10 sometimes. But all right. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video or next live stream. Feel free to become a member of my channel if you want to support the content that I make. And I'll see you guys later. Free think. Peace.